Hey guys, do you know what is the oldest pyramid in the world? Archaeologists will say it is the Djoser or Saqqara pyramid, built about 4,600 years ago. But what if I told you there is an even older pyramid located in India? There is such a pyramid a few centuries older than the Saqqara pyramid in Egypt, located in the town of Bareilly in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Let's go take a look and see what this place has to offer. As you can see, guys, I'm in the middle of nowhere, right? But there is that giant pyramid that was built before the Saqqara pyramid in Egypt, okay? Let's take a look at this. So you guys can see the height of each level of the stepped pyramid. And it's at least 10 feet tall. And there are at least 5 or 6 levels, guys. There are at least 5 or 6 levels. Actually, I hope you can see all the various levels of this pyramid, but I think that there are more levels hidden, okay? For example, look here. So you can see that more levels are hidden there. Locals call this Bhim Gada or Bhim Ki Gada, which means a blunt mace or the club, which is a weapon of a giant called Bhima. Why do they call this by that name? Well, there's a surprise waiting for us at the top. So let's go to the top and see what's there. So guys, you can see this is the surprise that's waiting for us in the top of the pyramid. See, this is a giant rock. It's a giant monolithic rock. Like, look at the height of that, right? So I'm maybe like, 5 3/4, and then probably 8 feet tall. And this is why they call this place Bhim Gada or Bhim Ki Gada, because they think that this used to be the club or mace of a giant called Bhim. But look at the shape of this. If you look at the shape of this, on top it's obviously broken. This is actually a cylinder. That top is a cylinder that should have gone really high, like really way up top. The original height must have been more than 12 feet, maybe a lot more than that. And then look at this side, right? So this is 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is an octagon on this side. So this has 8 sides. And you can see that the bottom, there are 4 sides. And this is kind of a cube with 4 sides. And on top, this is an octagon with 8 sides. And on top of that, this is a cylinder. Can you tell what this is? This is a giant lingam. This was probably at least 12 to 20 feet tall lingam that's placed on top of the pyramid. Okay? I'm not making this up because there are ancient texts which clearly give how a lingam should be designed. And this four-sided base, eight-sided middle part, and the top cylinder is clearly described in ancient texts. So we know that this is a lingam. And archaeologists also confirm that this is in fact a giant monolithic lingam. Now, why is this lingam placed on top of the pyramid, and what is the history behind this? Okay, so this is what the locals say. Shortly after the time of Krishna, a group of Nagas came down here and started to build the very first pyramid in the world. This is why this place was originally called Ahi Kshetra. The word Ahi means Naga, and the word Kshetra means place or sometimes even temple in the ancient language of Sanskrit. Now, this is what's really, really interesting about this pyramid because it's very, very similar to the oldest or the so-called quote-unquote oldest pyramid in the world, which is considered Saqqara pyramid in Egypt, because you can see the Nagas carved all over the walls in the complex of the Saqqara pyramid, indicating that the people who built this pyramid must have migrated and built the Saqqara pyramid in Egypt. Now, obviously, this lingam on the top of the pyramid must also remind you of the Koher pyramid in Cambodia, right? I've shown you the Koher pyramid in Cambodia, which is also a stepped pyramid. And it also once had a giant lingam on top of this. Now you can see how this place could be the origin of all the pyramids around the world, because we know that Mayas have pyramids, Aztec built pyramids, Egyptians obviously built pyramids, Cambodian built pyramids, but it's quite possible that India was the mother of all these pyramids. Now, whenever you see pyramid, you are supposed to see a square base with a unique spout called a yoni. But where's the yoni here? Why is it missing? Now, initially, I had assumed that people have broken the yoni and they've thrown it somewhere, and that's quite possible. But I've seen images from the remote sensing department of India, and it's very interesting because the entire pyramid has a unique spout-shaped structure at one end, indicating that could be a giant yoni. And not only that, believe it or not, that same structure, that same yoni-like structure also exists in Saqqara. Well, we cannot exclude the possibility that this was the precursor to the Saqqara pyramid. At least you have to admit that both of them have similar blueprints, because the Saqqara pyramid and Ahi Kshetram, which is this pyramid, are both solid structures. Both are step pyramids, and both are based on the cult of Nagas. This entire area is said to be a part of the ancient Panchala kingdom, which existed at the time of Krishna during the period of Mahabharata, around 3100 BC. This region originally belonged to the ancestors of Panchali, the wife of Arjuna and his brothers, and also his great-great-grandfather. So this place was originally a part of the Panchala kingdom. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the oldest pyramid in the world. I'm going to show you something very interesting in my next video, so stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.